Hi, my name is Elisa Sednaoui. I am Italian, French, Egyptian. I was born in Italy and lived most of my life until I was 18 years old in Italy, and we are in Los Angeles right now. You know, I had lived the first 5 years of my life in Egypt, arrived in Milan initially, lived there 3 years, then moved to the countryside. So when I was 9 years old and I would travel to Egypt to see my father. My parents were separated, and when I used to have to go for 2-3 weeks because it wasn't, such an easy trip to do. And I came back and the class had decided in its entirety not to speak with me. So I found myself at 9 years old I can't remember even how long it lasted, to come back to a class that wasn't speaking to me. But most importantly, with no teacher and no adult understanding or recognizing what was going on. That was the type of bullying that I experienced. I mean, I was different and there was no one to help deal with the situation, right? But that's violent, you feel rejected when things like this happen. I did years and years of therapy and self-work to deal with the rejection of not being accepted for who I am. So I started working very young. I started when I was 14 years old to do the first pictures as a model. I never really grew up dreaming of being a model or working in the entertainment business. But it happened. My mother was working in the fashion industry as well, and I needed to be independent economically young at an early age. Modeling was a great opportunity to do that while I was traveling, while I was learning to adapt to many different work environments and also different people. But I never found in it, the satisfaction and the passion that would really drive me to dedicate my professional life to this. And growing up, I think I was always looking for a sense of purpose and a sense that if I was gonna dedicate myself to something, and when you're a mother like I am and a wife, everything that brings you away from family needs to be somehow, I don't want to say justified, but you need to know why you're doing it, right? 8 years ago, I was in Egypt. I was actually shooting a documentary my first documentary as a director. And I found myself in a school. I really saw at that point this very clear image. On one side, children that were thirsty for learning more and that were there because they wanted to learn more. And in front of them, teachers who equally were really passionate about delivering this information, about educating the next generation. What was missing was methods, was missing the systemization of methodologies to really create transformative group experiences, to really not only teach knowledge, but also teach social, emotional dynamics and social emotional skills. Fantasia effectively today is a benefit corporation, so it's a company that creates educational program, and through the non-profit arm in Egypt, Italy, Mexico, and the United States from this year as well, brings this methodology to communities that cannot afford it, so underprivileged communities. Now fast forward 8 years, I'm a mother, I have 2 kids, and they go to school in Los Angeles, and they are privileged enough to have had the opportunities to go to very good schools. But what I've noticed is that even in those great schools, teachers are not prepared to really take care also of the social emotional well-being of children. I mean, conflict management, deep listening, building of confidence, following instructions and giving instructions. They seem very simple things that for us are given, but those are the skills that we need to realize ourselves as humans. The first step was to start writing down what was in my mind, to realize the vision that I had for a more progressive education that would really build a bridge between education, curriculum drafting experts, PhDs that work in education, and professionals out there. Not only we teach those life skills, but we use those tools like art, photography, directing, gardening, nutrition, coding to teach those skills experientially. I started this project without knowing that I was going to really dedicate myself full time to it. which I am today. And when I started, it was a moment where my career in the acting and in the modeling was picking up. So a lot of people didn't understand, and they wouldn't understand why someone who had a career starting in fashion and cinema would decide to do social development. It just didn't make sense to them. And for me, when I find myself with teachers in Italy, in Egypt, in Mexico, or when I see children that for the first time are asked what they think and look around them saying, is this real? Am I being asked what my opinion is? That moment of recognition that you see me, I see you, and we're in this together is of a power that it's in no way comparable with being a model or an actor. The issue with women and the image of how it's been presented is not only related, of course, to body image or body shaming and the necessity that we have now to really be more comprehensive in the different type of role models that we bring forth. But I think it's also broader than that. I mean, I would really like to see, and hear about stories of many more type of women out there. I'd like on the cover of magazines, not just actors or celebrities or influencers or musicians. I'd love to hear about women that are mothers, that are really working really hard to get this amazing product out there, and that would in turn inspire so many other women, because I was brought up by parents that made me feel equal. That for sure. I never felt with my father, or with my family, this feeling that because I was a woman, I would not be able to do certain things, right? Never. What I've learned and what I'm really trying to harness in the last years is anything from learning how to deal with our own monthly cycle and the fact that we do have months when we're bleeding that affect us, affect our mood, affect our physical performance, affect a lot of things. And if instead of wanting to be like men, we learn to harness this power and really celebrate who we are, not only we would be happier, but the contribution in the world would be much more powerful. What I love about Italy is the quality of life and the love of life. And, there is something very, very unique about our culture and even just our use of language and humor. Is something that is untranslatable. The way we play with language and words and little subtleties of things, I find is very special. What I did not expect when I moved to Los Angeles is that I was gonna meet a lot of Italians here and that we were gonna make such a tight group. And we love our moments, just going for lunch or going for dinner or calling each other. I love this feeling of celebrating our culture, of being who we are with our strong identity. I think, how to realize your dream is a mixture of really hearing yourself, knowing yourself, expressing yourself clearly. My dream is now for the things that I've built to consolidate, the professionally, the social enterprise, the non-profits, to be able to benefit as many people as possible, potentially to go to more countries. But for me, just the ability to be in the present, enjoy the moment for what it is, not worry too much about what will come, be present with my children, my husband, my friends, with myself.